Amaka knelt on the cold tile floor of the big house in Port Harcourt, scrubbing hard at a stain that would not go away. Her hands were red from the soap and water. Her back ached, but she did not stop. She never stopped until the work was done. Amaka! A voice shouted from upstairs. Sharp, impatient. Yes, sir. She answered quickly, dropping the brush and standing up. Her knees cracked as she rose. She was only 23 years old, but her body felt older. Victor Okafor appeared at the top of the stairs. He was tall, dark-skinned, wearing an expensive shirt and watch. His phone was pressed to his ear. He looked down at Amaka like she was part of the furniture. Why is my breakfast not ready? He asked, not really asking. What am I paying you for? Sorry, sir. I will do it now. Sorry does not feed me, he said, walking down the stairs past her. You village girls are all the same. Slow and useless. Amaka bent her head and hurried to the kitchen. Her chest felt tight, but she did not cry. She had learned not to cry a long time ago. Victor was a tech entrepreneur. Everyone in Port Harcourt knew his name. He owned 3 companies, drove a Range Rover, and his house sat in the expensive part of GIA. People respected him. They called him boss. They laughed at his jokes even when they were not funny. But Amaka saw a different man. She saw the man who threw plates when his eggs were too hard. The man who called her stupid when she forgot to iron his favorite shirt. The man who never said thank you. She had been working for him for 2 years. 2 long years since she left her village in Inugu. Her mother had died 3 years ago from a sickness they could not afford to treat. Before she died, she held Amaka's hand and said something Amaka would never forget. My daughter, you are beautiful. But beauty without character is like a fruit without seed. It looks good, but it cannot grow anything. Amaka did not feel beautiful anymore. She wore oversized dresses that hid her body. She tied her hair back tight every day. She wore no makeup. She walked with her head down. She had learned that being invisible was safer than being seen. Back in her village, before her mother died, Amaka had been different. She won the local beauty pageant when she was 19. People said she could be a model. They said she had the look. But then one night, after the pageant, 3 men followed her home. They said things. Dirty things. One of them grabbed her arm. She screamed and ran. Her mother found her crying by the road. After that, Amaka stopped caring about beauty. Beauty brought danger. Beauty brought the wrong kind of attention. So she buried it. She hid it under big clothes and silence and fear. Now, she just worked. She sent money home to her younger sister, Kyoma, who was still in secondary school. That was all that mattered. Survive. Send money. Stay invisible. Victor walked into the kitchen while she was cooking. He leaned against the counter, scrolling through his phone. You know, he said without looking up, I am hosting a big company gala next month. All the important people in Port Harcourt will be there. That is good, so. Amaka said quietly, flipping the eggs. Politicians, business owners, celebrities. He continued, even the governor might come. Amaka nodded, not sure why he was telling her this. Victor looked up suddenly and smiled. It was not a kind smile. I want you to come, he said. Amaka froze. So? Yes, you, my house girl. He laughed. I want you to come to the gala. She turned to face him, confused. But sir, I don't understand. Victor's smile grew wider. I am doing a social experiment. I want to see what happens when I bring someone like you to an event like that. It will be funny. You will serve drinks. You will see how rich people behave. It will teach you to know your place. Amaka's stomach turned. She understood now. This was not an invitation. It was a joke. She was a joke. Sir, I don't think. I am not asking you, Amaka. I am telling you. His voice went cold. You work for me. You will do what I say. Yes, sir. She whispered. Victor left the kitchen, already laughing on the phone to someone about his brilliant idea. Amaka stood there, staring at the eggs burning in the pan. Her hands shook. She turned off the stove and sat down on the kitchen stool. For the first time in months, tears came to her eyes. That evening, she called her sister. Sister Amaka. Kyoma's voice was bright and happy. I have good news. What is it? Amaka asked, trying to sound cheerful. My exam results came out. I passed everything. And the school said if I keep doing well, I might get a scholarship to university. Amaka's tears changed from sad to bittersweet. Kyoma, that is wonderful. I am so proud of you. It is because of you, sister, because you send money, because you believe in me. After the call ended, Amaka sat in her small room behind Victor's big house. The room was tiny, just a bed, a box, and a small mirror. She looked at herself in the mirror, really looked. Her face was still there, the same face that won that pageant, the same face her mother said was beautiful. But it was buried under fear and pain and years of being told she was nothing. Kyoma is going to make it. She whispered to her reflection. Because of me, I matter. I do. But even as she said it, she felt the weight of Victor's invitation pressing on her chest like a stone. The next day, Amaka was sweeping the front yard when an old woman walked past. It was Mama Ngozi, her neighbor. Mama Ngozi lived in a small house down the street. She was a retired fashion designer, quiet and kind. Good morning, my daughter. Mama Ngozi said, stopping by the gate. Good morning, Ma. Amaka replied with a small smile. Mama Ngozi studied her face. You look sad. Amaka shook her head quickly. No, Ma. I am fine. You are lying. Mama Ngozi said gently. I see it in your eyes. You have been crying. Amaka did not know why, but suddenly the words poured out. She told Mama Ngozi everything. About the gala. About Victor's plan to humiliate her. About feeling trapped. Mama Ngozi listened quietly. When Amaka finished, the old woman nodded slowly. Come to my house tomorrow evening. She said, I want to show you something. But Ma, I have work. Make time. Mama Ngozi said firmly. This is important. The next evening, Amaka knocked on Mama Ngozi's door. The old woman opened it with a smile. Come in, come in. The house was small but beautiful. Fabric hung on the walls. Sewing machines sat in the corner. Pictures of fashion shows covered one wall. You were a designer, Mao. Amaka asked, looking around in wonder. I was. Mama Ngozi said. I dress governors' wives. I dress beauty queens. I dress women who wanted to feel powerful. She paused. Sit down, Amaka. Let me tell you a story. They sat, and Mama Ngozi poured tea. When I was your age, she began, I worked for a wealthy man too. Not as a house girl, but as a seamstress in his wife's boutique. The wife was cruel. She mocked me every day, called me ugly, called me bush. One day, she invited me to her birthday party. I thought finally she sees me as human. But no, she wanted me to serve food. She wanted her friends to laugh at me. Amaka's eyes widened. What did you do, Mao? I went. Mama Ngozi said. But I did not go as a servant. I went as myself. I wore the most beautiful dress I had ever made. I walked in with my head high. And you know what happened? What? Her husband saw me. Really saw me. He asked who I was. When he found out I was a seamstress, he was shocked. He told his wife she was a fool for not seeing my talent. 3 months later, I left that boutique and opened my own shop. I became more successful than her. She reached out and touched Amaka's hand. You think your boss is giving you a punishment, but he is giving you a stage. What you do with that stage is up to you. Amaka shook her head. But Ma, I have nothing. No clothes, no money for a dress. Did I say you need money? Mama Ngozi stood up and walked to a back room. She returned, holding a large garment bag. I have been saving this. She unzipped the bag slowly. Inside was a dress. Deep blue, elegant, simple but stunning. The fabric shimmered in the light. I made this for my daughter. Mama Ngozi said softly, but she died before she could wear it. Mao! Amaka's voice broke. I cannot. You will. Mama Ngozi said firmly. My daughter was your size. This dress has been waiting for the right woman. You are that woman. Tears rolled down Amaka's face. Why are you doing this to me? Mama Ngozi smiled sadly. Because someone should have done it for me. Because you remind me of who I was. And because I see what you do not see yet. You are not just a house girl. You are a woman who survived. And survival is the first step to strength. For the next week, Mama Ngozi worked on Amaka in secret. She altered the dress to fit perfectly. She taught Amaka how to walk with her shoulders back. She showed her how to speak clearly, not quietly. She told her stories of strong women who refused to be broken. Remember, Mama Ngozi said the night before the gala, your boss thinks he is teaching you a lesson. But you are about to teach him one. You are about to show him that you were never beneath him. He just never bothered to look properly. That night, Amaka lay in her small room, staring at the ceiling. Fear and excitement warred in her chest. Her phone buzzed. A message from Kyoma. Sister, I love you. You are my hero. Amaka smiled in the darkness. Tomorrow, she thought. Tomorrow I stop hiding. The day of the gala arrived. Victor was in a good mood all morning. He kept laughing to himself, making phone calls about the surprise he had planned. Remember, he told Amaka as he left the house to get ready at a hotel, come by 8 p.m. Don't be late. And don't dress too nice. I want people to see what you really are. Yes, sir, Amaka said, but she had no intention of obeying. At 6 p.m., she went to Mama Ngozi's house. The old woman was waiting. Are you ready? She asked. Amaka took a deep breath. I think so. Then let us begin. Mama Ngozi worked like an artist. She washed Amaka's hair and styled it in soft curls that framed her face. She applied light makeup, just enough to highlight Amaka's natural beauty, not hide it. She helped her into the blue dress. It fit like it was made for her body alone. The fabric hugged her waist and flowed down to her ankles. Simple, elegant, powerful. When Amaka looked in the mirror, she gasped. The woman staring back at her was a stranger. No, not a stranger. It was her. The real her. The one who had been hiding for years. Mama, she whispered. Mama Ngozi stood behind her, hands on her shoulders. Tears filled the old woman's eyes. This is who you are, she said quietly. Not the girl scrubbing floors. Not the girl with her head down. This is Amaka. Amaka touched her face in the mirror. Her mother's voice echoed in her mind. Beauty without character is like a fruit without seed. Mama, Amaka said, I have character now. I earned it, through pain and work and surviving. Now I have both. Mama Ngozi smiled. Yes, my daughter. Now you have both. At exactly 8 p.m., Amaka arrived at the Transcorp Hotel where the gala was being held. The parking lot was full of expensive cars. Security guards stood at the entrance. Rich people in fine clothes walked in, laughing and talking loudly. Amaka's heart pounded. For a moment, fear almost won. She almost turned around. But then she remembered Kyoma's message. She remembered Mama Ngozi's story. She remembered every insult Victor had ever thrown at her. She stepped out of the taxi and walked toward the entrance. The security guard looked at her twice. Good evening, madam. Are you on the list? I was invited by Victor Okafor, she said clearly. The guard checked his list and nodded. Welcome, madam. Madam. Not girl. Not you. Madam. Amaka walked through the doors and into the hall. The room was massive. Golden lights hung from the ceiling. White tables filled with food stood along the walls. A live band played soft music. People in expensive clothes filled every corner, holding wine glasses, laughing, networking. And they all stopped. One by one, heads turned. Conversations paused. Eyes found her. Amaka did not look down. She did not shrink. She walked slowly, steadily, the way Mama Ngozi had taught her. Shoulders back, head high, eyes forward. Who is that? Someone whispered. I have never seen her before. She is stunning. At the center of the room, Victor stood with a group of his friends. He was mid-laugh when someone tapped his shoulder and pointed toward the entrance. Victor turned. His smile froze. His wine glass stopped halfway to his mouth. No, he whispered. One of his friends, a man named Tunde, whistled low. Victor, who is that woman? Do you know her? Victor could not speak. He watched as Amaka walked closer. His brain refused to accept what his eyes were seeing. This could not be Amaka, his house girl, the village girl who scrubbed his floors. But it was. She stopped a few feet away from him and smiled politely. Good evening, so, she said calmly. Thank you for inviting me. The group around Victor stared. Tunde's mouth fell open. Victor, Tunde said slowly, you did not tell us you knew someone like this. Victor forced a laugh that sounded broken. This is, she works for me. Works for you? A woman in the group said. Doing what? Modeling for your company. No, Victor said, his voice tight. She is my house girl. Silence exploded around them. House girl. Tunde repeated. This woman. Amaka did not flinch. She kept her smile steady. Yes, I clean his house. I cook his food. I work for him. The woman in the group looked Amaka up and down, then looked at Victor with something like disgust. And you did not see this? She asked Victor. You did not see what was right in front of you. Before Victor could answer, another man approached. He was tall, well-dressed, with kind eyes and a confident walk. He moved through the crowd easily until he stood in front of Amaka. Excuse me, he said politely. I do not mean to interrupt, but I have to ask, what is your name? Amaka turned to face him. Amaka. He smiled. I am Femi Nwosu. It is a pleasure to meet you. Likewise, she replied. Femi glanced at Victor, then back at Amaka. I heard you say you work as a house girl. Yes, Amaka said simply. Femi nodded slowly. There is no shame in honest work. But I have to say, you carry yourself like someone meant for much more. Victor stepped forward quickly, voice sharp. Femi, she is my worker. We were just talking. Were you? Femi said, his tone still polite but with steel underneath. Because it looked like you were embarrassed. The crowd around them had grown larger. People were watching now. Phones were out. This was becoming a scene. Victor forced another laugh. Embarrassed? No. I am the one who brought her here. I wanted to give her exposure to this world. Exposure? Femi repeated. You mean you wanted to parade her as a joke? If you enjoy this story, please click and subscribe. Drop your comment and wait for part 2. Victor's face went dark. What's your mouth? Oh, what? Femi said calmly. You will explain to everyone here why you are treating another human being like a circus act. Tension crackled in the air. Amaka stood frozen between them. Then Femi turned to her, ignoring Victor completely. Amaka, he said gently, do you want to be here? She hesitated, then nodded. Yes, I do. Then stay as my guest. He extended his arm. Let me introduce you to people who will appreciate you. Amaka looked at Victor. His face was a mix of anger and shock. She looked at Femi. His face was open and kind. She took Femi's arm. Thank you, she said. As they walked away, whispers erupted behind them. Did you see that? Victor's house girl looks better than half the women here. Who is that man who defended her? Victor stood alone in the center of the crowd, fists clenched, watching Amaka disappear into the party on another man's arm. For the first time in his life, Victor Okafor felt small. The gala became a turning point for Amaka. Femi introduced her to people. Real people, not the fake smiling ones she expected. A woman who ran a charity. A man who owned a construction company and had started as a laborer. A young couple who built their business from nothing. They treated her with respect. They asked about her life, her dreams. When she told them she sent money to her sister for school, they nodded with understanding, not pity. That is noble. One woman said, education is a key. Femi stayed close all night. He was attentive but not pushy. He made her laugh. He listened when she spoke. When the night ended, he asked for her number. I would like to see you again. He said, if you would like that too. Amaka's heart fluttered. I would. That night, she returned to her small room floating. For the first time in years, she felt like a human being, not a shadow. The next morning, Victor said nothing. He did not greet her. He did not insult her. He just stared at her with a look she could not read. Days passed. Femi called her every evening. He took her to a small restaurant. He showed her his office, a growing tech hub where he employed over 50 people. I started with nothing. He told her, I was a gateman for 3 years while I learned coding at night. Nobody believed in me except my mother. She died before she saw me succeed. So now, I tried to help people the way I wish someone had helped me. Amaka saw herself in his story. She felt safe with him. Seen. After 2 months, Femi offered her a job. You are smart, Amaka. I have seen it in how you talk, how you think. I need an assistant. Someone I can trust. It pays well. Better than what you are doing now. Amaka's hand shook as she held the offer letter. It was real, printed, official. Femi, I do not know what to say. Say yes. He smiled. Say yes, and stop letting that man treat you like you're worthless. She said yes. When she told Victor she was quitting, he laughed. Actually laughed. You think you can just leave? He said, where will you go? Back to your village? I have another job. Amaka said firmly. With who? That yay Femi. Victor's face twisted. He is using you. You are just his project, his charity case. When he is done, he will throw you away like trash. That is not true. Amaka said, you will see. Victor said coldly, you will come back here begging, and I will laugh in your face. But Amaka did not come back. She moved into a small but clean apartment Femi helped her find. She learned quickly at work. She sent even more money to Kyoma. She saved what she could. She started to smile again. Femi was patient with her. He did not rush her. After 6 months, he told her he had feelings for her. I do not know if you feel the same, he said carefully, but I think you are incredible. Not because of how you look, because of who you are. Your strength, your heart. Amaka's eyes filled with tears. Femi, I am afraid. Of what? Of being hurt again. Of trusting in being wrong. He took her hand gently. I cannot promise I will never hurt you. I am human, but I can promise I will never use you. I will never see you as less. And if you give me a chance, I will prove it every single day. She wanted to believe him. She almost did. But then Victor appeared again. It started small. A message on Facebook. Amaka, I am sorry. Can we talk? She deleted it. Then flowers showed up at her office. No card, but she knew. Then one evening, as she left Wake, Victor was standing by her bus stop. Please, he said, just 5 minutes. No, Amaka said and walked past him. But he followed. Amaka, I was wrong. I was wicked. I see that now. She kept walking. I lost my business. He said suddenly. She stopped, turned. What? Victor looked different. Thinner. His clothes were not as sharp. His eyes were tired. Everything crashed. He said, bad investments. Partners who stole from me. I lost it all. He laughed bitterly. Karma, right? Despite everything, Amaka felt a small pool of sympathy. I am sorry to hear that. Are you? He asked quietly. Because I would not blame you if you were happy. I treated you like dirt. I am not happy. She said honestly. I do not wish pain on anyone. Victor looked at her for a long moment. You are a better person than me. Then he walked away. That night, Amaka told Femi what happened. Do you think he has changed? She asked. Femi frowned. People can change. But Amaka, be careful. Men like him do not change easily. I know, she said. I will not go near him. But Victor did not give up. He started showing up at places he knew she would be. A grocery store. A church she attended. Always at a distance. Always looking broken. Then one day, Amaka saw him volunteering at a food bank. He was serving rice to poor people, head bent, humble. Her defenses cracked a little. Maybe, she thought, maybe he really has changed. The final blow came 3 months later. Victor showed up at her apartment, crying, "Amaka, I need to talk to you. Please." She should have said no, but she let him in. "Just for a moment. I have been seeing a therapist," he said, sitting on the edge of her couch, trying to understand why I was so cool, why I hurt people. Amaka stood by the door, arms crossed. "That is good. They told me I was jealous," he said, "jealous of people like you. People who are strong without money, without power. I had everything and I was empty. You had nothing and you were full." His words sounded true. Too true. "I am not asking you to forgive me," he continued. I wanted you to know I see you now. I see what I destroyed, and I hate myself for it." Amaka felt her chest tighten. Over the next few weeks, Victor became a constant presence. Not pushy, just there, sending messages checking if she was okay, sharing articles about personal growth, telling her about his therapy. And slowly, poison dripped into her mind. One evening, Femi was late to pick her up for dinner. An hour late. When he arrived, he was apologetic but distracted. "Work emergency," he said. "Sorry." It was fine. It was understandable. But doubt whispered, "Does he really prioritize you?" Then she overheard him on a call. "Yes, the Amaka project is going well." Her blood went cold. After he hung up, she asked carefully, "What is the Amaka project?" Femi looked confused. "What?" "I heard you on the phone. You said the Amaka project." "Amaka project." Understanding dawned on his face. "Oh, Amaka, that is not about you. That is a scholarship program I am starting for village girls. I named it after you because you inspired it." He showed her the documents. It was real, but the doubt had already planted roots. That week, Victor sent a message. "Can we meet? I have something important to tell you." She should not have gone, but she did. They met at a quiet restaurant. Victor looked serious. "Amaka, I do not want to hurt you, but I have to tell you something." "What?" He pulled out his phone and showed her a screenshot. It was a text conversation. "Femi, the village girl thing is working great. Good optics of the brand. Unknown, you always know how to play the game." Amaka's heart stopped. "Where did you get this?" "A friend sent it to me. He knows Femi." Victor said quietly, "Amaka, I am not saying this to win you back. I am saying it because you deserve to know the truth. Femi is using you. You are good PR for him. The self-made man helps poor village girl's story. It makes him look good." "No," Amaka whispered. "That is not true." "Why would I lie?" Victor said, "I have nothing to gain. I already lost. I am just trying to save you from getting hurt the way I hurt you." Tears filled her eyes. "I do not believe you." "Then ask him." Victor said, "Show him that screenshot. See how he reacts." That night, Amaka could not sleep. The doubt grew bigger, louder. The next day, she confronted Femi. "Tell me the truth," she said, voice shaking. "Would you have noticed me if I was still scrubbing Victor's flaws?" Femi looked confused. "What? Amaka, where is this coming from? Answer the question." She shouted, "Would you have loved me if I was still wearing those ugly clothes? If I was still nobody?" Femi's face fell. "Amaka, that is not fair. Answer me." He hesitated. That hesitation was a knife. He struggled. "Amaka, I notice people who carry themselves with dignity. You had that even when you were at the gala. But I do not know if I would have seen it if you were still, if we met differently. I am being honest." Honest, but it was a wrong answer. Amaka's voice went cold. So Victor was right. "Victor!" Femi's eyes widened. "You have been talking to Victor. He showed me the truth about you." "What truth?" Femi demanded. "Amaka, whatever he told you is a lie." But she was already walking away. "Amaka, wait." He grabbed her arm gently. "Please, do not do this. Do not let him poison you. She pulled away. You poisoned yourself. That night, Victor called. Are you okay? No, she cried. Can I come see you? She should have said no, but she said yes. Victor arrived with food and kind words. He held her while she cried. He said all the right things. You deserve someone who sees you no matter what. Someone who loved you when you were nothing. But I was not nothing. Amaka whispered. I know. Victor said. I meant someone who sees that. I did not before, but I do now. It was the beginning of the end. Over the next month, Victor worked his way back into her life. He convinced her that Femi was using her. That rich men like Femi did not really love women like her. That they were the same, two people from the bottom who understood real struggle. Femi tried calling. She blocked him. He came to her apartment. She did not open the door. He sent letters. She burned them. You are doing the right thing. Victor told her, protecting yourself. 6 months after she left Femi, Victor proposed something new. I am trying to start over. Build a new business. But I have no capital. If we combine our resources, we can do it together. Partners. Amaka had saved 2.8 million Nigerian nairas. Everything she had earned working for Femi. Partners. She asked. Yes. Equal. He smiled. Amaka, I want to build something with you. I want to prove I have changed. She gave him the money. All of it. At first, things seemed fine. Victor talked about business plans. He showed her fake documents. He made her feel included. Then he started going out more. Coming home late. Smelling like alcohol. Where were you? She asked one night. Business meeting. He said shortly. At midnight. Do not question me, Amaka. His voice changed. Cold. Familiar. The mask was cracking. Within 3 months, Victor was back to his old self. Cruel. Controlling. Mean. You think giving me money makes you equal to me. He laughed one night. You are still that same village girl. You just had a lucky break. Amaka's heart shattered. You said you changed. I said what I needed to say. He replied, you were naive enough to believe it. Give me my money back. She demanded. He laughed harder. What money? That was an investment. A bad one. It is gone. You spent it. Every naira. He said with a cool smile. You wanted to play big girl. You wanted to rise above your level. This is what happens. You fall. Then came the worst news. Amaka was pregnant. When she told Victor, his face went from shock to disgust. Pregnant. He said, are you stupid? This is your child. She cried, I do not want a child. He said flatly, especially not with you. What? Victor stood up, towering over her. You think I wanted you back because I loved you? I wanted revenge. You embarrassed me at that gala. You made me look small. So I decided to remind you who you really are. A nobody. A village girl who will always be beneath me. Amaka felt her world collapse. You planned this. Every single part. He said with pride. Getting your money. Getting you pregnant. Breaking you down. You deserve it for thinking you could ever be more than what you are. Please. Amaka whispered. Please do not do this. Victor walked to the door and opened it. Get out. What? This is my apartment. Rented with your money. He laughed. Get out. Take your village pregnancy and leave. Amaka stood frozen. Now. He roared. She grabbed her bag with shaking hands and walked out into the night. The door slammed behind her. And Amaka, 5 months pregnant, with no money, no home, and no hope, began to walk. For 3 days, Amaka wandered Port Harcourt streets. She slept under a bridge the first night, curled around her growing belly, crying until she had no tears left. She begged for food the second day. Some people gave her money. Most looked away. By the third day, she had not eaten in 24 hours. She was dizzy, weak. She sat on the side of the road, hand on her stomach, praying, please, God. She whispered, please, not my baby. Punish me but save my baby. A car drove past, then stopped, reversed. Amaka did not look up. She assumed they wanted to give her money. The car door opened. Footsteps approached. Amaka. That voice. Familiar. Amaka looked up slowly. Mama Ngozi stood there, face white with shock, hand over her mouth. Oh my God! The old woman whispered, Amaka. Mama Ngozi fell to her knees and grabbed Amaka's face. What happened? What happened to you? Amaka could not speak. She just cried. Mama Ngozi did not ask more questions. She simply helped Amaka into the car and drove her home. For 2 weeks, Amaka stayed in bed. Mama Ngozi fed her, bathed her, let her cry, did not judge. Finally, Amaka told her everything. Mama Ngozi listened to it all, the manipulation, the money, the pregnancy, the betrayal. When Amaka finished, Mama Ngozi was quiet for a long time. Then she said, that man is evil, truly evil. I was stupid. Amaka whispered, no. Mama Ngozi said firmly, you were human. You wanted to believe in redemption. That is not stupidity. That is hope. He used your hope as a weapon. What do I do now? Amaka asked. I have nothing. No money. No future. Just this baby. Mama Ngozi took her hand. You have yourself, she said. And sometimes that is enough to start again. Amaka gave birth to a baby girl 4 months later. She named her Zainab after her mother. Mama Ngozi was there through it all. She paid for the hospital. She bought baby things. She loved Amaka and Zainab like family. Why are you doing this for me? Amaka asked one night, rocking Zainab to sleep. Because I wish someone had done it for me. Mama Ngozi said simply. When Zainab was 3 months old, Mama Ngozi made Amaka an offer. I will teach you to sew. Amaka looked up, surprised. What? You cannot live here forever doing nothing. You need a skill. Let me teach you mine. So Amaka learned. Slowly at first. Her hands were clumsy. She pricked her fingers. She made mistakes. But she kept trying. Mama Ngozi was a patient teacher. Sewing is like life. She would say, 1 stitch at a time. You do not see the full picture until you are done. After 1 year, Amaka could make simple dresses. After 2 years, her work was good enough to sell. Mama Ngozi's old clients started noticing. Who made this dress? One woman asked. My apprentice. Mama Ngozi said proudly. Amaka. Word spread. Slowly, quietly. Amaka's designs had something special, a rawness, an honesty. She made clothes for real women's bodies. She understood struggle, so her clothes celebrated survival. By the time Zainab turned 3, Amaka Originals was a small but growing name. A local magazine featured her. From nothing to something, the single mother's fashion story. They did not know the full story, but it was enough. Orders increased. Amaka rented a small shop. She hired 2 girls to help her. Life was not perfect, but it was hers. Then one day, Victor appeared. Amaka was at her shop, pinning fabric. When the door opened, she looked up. Victor stood there, on crutches, both legs in casts. She froze. Hello, Amaka, he said quietly. She found her voice. Get out. Please, just listen. Get out. She shouted. Her workers looked up, startled. Victor did not move. I had an accident. Car crash. I almost died. And Amaka said coldly, and I have been thinking about everything, about what I did to you, about our daughter. I have a daughter. Amaka cut him off. You have nothing. Please. His voice broke. I am sorry. You are sorry. Amaka laughed bitterly. You destroyed my life. You took everything from me. You threw me out pregnant. And now you come here because you need something. What is it? Money? Sympathy? I just wanted to see you. He whispered. To see my child. Your child. Amaka's voice rose. Where were you when I was begging in the street? Where were you when I gave birth alone? Where were you when I cried myself to sleep every night because I had no food? Victor's eyes filled with tears. I was a monster. I know. I thought you would want to know I am suffering now too. Good. Amaka said flatly. I hope you suffer for the rest of your life. She turned her back to him. Now leave, and do not come back. Victor stood there for a moment. Then slowly, he left. But he kept coming back. Once a week. Sometimes twice. Standing outside her shop. Not saying anything. Just there. Amaka ignored him. Until one day, 3 months later, someone told her Victor collapsed outside her shop. She should not have gone. But something made her walk outside. Victor was on the ground, crutches beside him, crying. People stood around, watching. Amaka knelt down slowly. What are you doing? I do not know. He sobbed. I do not know anymore. I have nothing. No business. No friends. No family. I lost everything. You did this to yourself. She said. I know. He looked up at her. I am not asking you to take me back. I am not asking you to forgive me. I just need you to know I regret everything. Every single thing I did to you. Amaka stared at this broken man. The man who once had all the power. The man who used that power to crush her. She felt nothing. Not anger. Not pity. Just emptiness. Victor, she said quietly, I do not hate you anymore, but I do not forgive you either. What you did broke something in me that took years to fix. You do not get to come here and ask for peace when I am still picking up pieces. I understand. He whispered. She stood up. But I will do one thing for you. His eyes lifted. Hopeful. I will pay for your medical treatment. Not for you. For the man you could have been if you had chosen differently. That man deserves help. The one sitting here right now does not. She walked back into her shop and made the call. Victor's hospital bills were paid. He got treatment. Physical therapy. He healed. But Amaka never spoke to him again. 5 years passed. Zainab was now 8 years old. Smart. Happy. Loved. Amaka Originals was no longer small. 3 shops. 20 employees. Celebrity clients. Magazine covers. Amaka had become someone people admired. Not because she was perfect, but because she survived. One evening, she attended a business summit at a big hotel. She wore one of her own designs. Simple, powerful, beautiful. She was standing by the drinks table when she heard a familiar voice. Amaka? She turned. Femi stood there. Time stopped. He looked the same. Maybe a little older. Still kind eyes. Still that gentle smile. Beside him was a woman. Beautiful. Warm smile. She was wearing a doctor's coat name tag. Dr. Danan Wosu. Femi. Amaka breathed. They stared at each other. Dr. Dana looked between them and smiled knowingly. I will get us drinks. She said softly and walked away. You look well. Femi said. So do you. Amaka replied. Silence. Then Amaka's voice cracked. Femi, I am so sorry. He shook his head. Amaka. No, please. Tears filled her eyes. Let me say this. I was wrong. About everything. You tried to help me and I threw it away. You loved me and I did not trust it. You deserve better than what I gave you. Femi's eyes were wet too. I heard what happened. After what he did to you. She nodded, wiping her face. I paid for my mistake. You did not deserve that. He said firmly. No matter what you chose. I should have listened to you. She whispered. Femi stepped closer. Amaka, I was hurt. I was angry for a long time. But I never stopped wishing you well. Even when I moved on. Even when I married Dana. I still hoped you found peace. You are married. She looked at his ring. Yes. 3 years now. He smiled softly. She is incredible. A doctor. She runs free clinics for people who cannot afford health care. Amaka smiled through tears. She sounds perfect for you. She is. he said, then added gently, but you were too, in a different way, in a different time. They stood in silence. Dr. Dana returned with drinks. She handed one to Femi, then turned to Amaka. You are the Amaka, she said warmly. Femi told me about you. Amaka looked at Femi, surprised. Adana smiled. Not bad things. True things. He told me about a woman who survived more than anyone should have to survive. And built something beautiful anyway. Amaka's throat closed. Your designs are stunning. Adana continued. And the work you do for single mothers sponsoring their training, giving them jobs, it is inspiring. Thank you. Amaka managed. Femi looked at her with something like pride. You did it, Amaka. You really did it. I fell first, she said quietly, but you got up. He replied, that is what matters. They talked for an hour. About life, about businesses, about the charity work Femi and Adana were doing. Before they left, Femi said, Amaka, what happened between us? I forgive you. Fully. Completely. No more guilt. Femi. She cried again. And if you ever need anything, for your business, for your daughter, for anything, you call me. We are friends now. Really? She nodded, unable to speak. Adana hugged her. You are stronger than you know. After they left, Amaka sat alone for a long time. She thought about the girl who scrubbed floors, the girl who was afraid of being seen, the girl who fell in love with her oppressor because she confused his chains for safety, the girl who lost everything before she found herself. That girl was still inside her, but she was not that girl anymore. She was a mother, a business owner, a survivor, a woman who learned that healing does not mean forgetting. It means choosing to build anyway. 7 years later, Amaka stood in her childhood village in Enugu. Behind her was a building, newly painted, bright. The sign above the door read, the Zainab Center for Women's Empowerment. Inside, 50 women were learning skills. Sewing, tailoring, business management. Amaka had funded it all. Beside her, Zainab, now 15, smiled wide. Mama, it is beautiful. Yes, Amaka said. It is. In the crowd, she saw Kauma, her sister, now a university graduate, a teacher. She saw Mama Ngozi, older but still strong. She saw the women who would be trained here, women like she once was. She did not see Victor. He had tried to come. She told him no. But she saw Femi and Adana in the back row. They had driven hours to be here, to support her. As Amaka gave her speech, she said something she had thought about for years. I was once told that beauty without character is like a fruit without seed. It looks good but cannot grow anything. She paused. I learned that the same is true for redemption. You can say sorry. You can cry. You can beg. But if you have no character, those words are empty. They do not grow anything. She looked at the women in front of her. I am not here because I am special. I am here because I refuse to stay down. Because even when life broke me, I remembered I was a seed. And seeds grow even in darkness. Especially in darkness. Applause filled the room. After the ceremony, Femi approached her. That was powerful. He said, thank you for coming. She replied, I would not miss it. He smiled. Amaka, I am proud of you. Truly. She looked at him, the man who saw her when she could not see herself, the man she pushed away, the man who forgave her anyway. Femi, I know I do not deserve to ask this, but can we be friends? Real friends? He smiled. We already are. And for the first time in years, Amaka felt complete. Not because a man loved her, not because she was rich or successful, but because she had finally learned the hardest lesson of all. You cannot heal in the same place that broke you. You cannot grow if you keep returning to the same soil. And sometimes, the greatest love story is not about finding the right person. It is about finding you. Please, if you enjoy this story, kindly click and subscribe. Also drop your comment and tell us what you think about Amaka's decision.